Hey, Shalom. Kahala Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Kahakadash. Double honors to apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do so. And to the scattered hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth, and those among the heathen nations that look like the heathen nations pursuing Jeremiah 12:9, known as the speckled birds. This is not a black thing. I am disciple Parium, a follower of Great Millstone, coming to you with a lesson in truth and sincerity. This lesson is going to be titled, The Word Esau Consumed. Now, before I go into that, it's a website that I found right here, and I want to include this. And it's going into twin genetics and skin color differences. So it says identical twins, also known as monozygotic twins, originate from a single fertilized egg that splits into two embryos. This means that they share nearly 100% of their DNA. However, even identical twins can exhibit differences in skin color. These differences can arise due to a few key factors. Now, I don't want to go too much into this, but I'll go ahead and include it in the lesson. Now, going in on Genesis 25 and 25. But I guess I'll go ahead and read off in the pictures below, because, a lot of the churches will say, well, why are you guys so consumed with Esau? Esau's done away with. You hear all kinds of things, all right? But when that's not so, because, they have afflicted Israel, okay? So there's a whole bunch of scriptures that go into this, but Edom essentially figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. You got Isaiah 34:5, verse 6, 63 and 1. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from power. Okay? And essentially, if you read it on the top right there, it talks about the how the Edomites rejoiced over the affliction of the Judeans and began to take over the southern parts of Palestine. Eventually, they penetrated as far north as Hebron, and this account intensified the already smoldering hatred between Jews and the Edomites. And the Jews is Judah, Benjamin, Levi in the south. And yes, Psalms 137:7, Ezekiel 25:12-14, Amos 1-11, and of course Obadiah 10-14. But the main topic I want to go in on is the word Esau, how it should be consumed, and we're going to get into the reasons why. So again, Genesis 25 and 25. And it says, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Now, you look at that word Esau, it's going to say Strong's H6215, and go to Aishawa, okay, and it's going to say probably hairy, right? Yeah, eldest son, and so forth, right? Now, Esau does not mean hairy, and hairy goes into the word. Well, we'll go ahead and pull it real quick. It's going to be Strong's H 8181. All right, and that's from 8175. Was really the word hairy came out later in Genesis 27:11. We can pull that real quick. You see where it says, and Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Okay, you see that? So this is going into as they're older, right? And the deception. And when you go to that word hairy right there, you see it says Sha'ayar. All right, that should be the word for hairy. That's the true word. You see the difference there? Okay. So Esau should be transliterated to wasted or he wasted. Also, that word wasted goes into the word consumed. Okay. So either one, the wrong word for Esau was used, or two, the wrong definition. But, essentially, really, it's both. So the word shown is Strong's H6215, which we read earlier, which was Aishawa, right? But it should be, I believe it's Aishashwa, which is 86244. So we'll get that real quick. Oh, 6244. So it occurs 3 times, all right, in the KJV. And says where it says, my eye is consumed because of grief. It waxes old because of all mine enemies. So go there real quick. And you see it says Aishash, right? That's what it means. It means to waste away, fail. What was wasted away and failed? All right, his pigment in his skin, in Esau's skin. Okay, essentially he was, from the henceforth him and his seed, they were clean lepers. Okay. So there's nothing unusual regarding Jacob. You see that it says that he came out he came out with pigment. They didn't say anything. They didn't discuss anything in Genesis 25 and 25. It just referred and discussed Esau. One account you could go to is the account of Miriam in the book of Numbers. The 12th chapter. And let's see, where can we start at? I believe we start in, verse 8. It says, with him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and the similitude of the Lord Yahweh shall be he behold. Where before, then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. It says, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous. Because, they were speaking against Moses because he had Ethiopian wife, right? You read that in verse 1. It says, Moses, because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman, right? So let's go back to, I believe we were verse 10. And so you see that Miriam had turned leprous, right? Because she was on her brother, and she was out of order, And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. But let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed. There's the point. When he cometh out of his mother's womb. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, Heal her now, O power, I beseech thee. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, If her father have but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that let her be received in again. And Miriam was shut out of the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again. And afterwards the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness in Paran. So we go to that word consumed here in verse 12. And it's a different word, but it's actually quite similar. It's Strong's H398, and it's a call. Okay? It says to eat, devour, burn up, right? To be devoured. So, let's see. It says to be wasted and destroyed right there. You see that? To be right there. To waste and be destroyed of flesh. All right? Just like how Esau was. Another account was in the account with Moses in Exodus chapter 4. Verses 5 through 7. This is where Moses is given powers, right? And the Lord showed powers unto Moses right here, right? So again, Exodus 4 verse 5. It says that they may believe that the Lord Yahweh power of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the power of Jacob have appeared unto thee. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, Put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hands were leprous as snow. Okay? So they didn't go in white, they came out white. That was more of a miracle. Okay? And showing you that everybody else was, more melanated. Okay? If you read the NLT, it says his hand was white as snow with a severe skin disease. Verse 7, and he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into the bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. So it went back to, being more melanated, So, but, these churches don't want to talk about that. And, Yahweh, he could take away your pigment. It shows Moses was a dark-skinned man. Verse 7, it says, it was turned again, again, right? So when we go to verse 7, let's see, go to interlinear. And that word turned again is shawab, okay? And shawab means to return, turn back, okay? It says, look at this. It says right here, it says to bring back, to restore, refresh, repair, okay? And that's it right there on that one right there. So the word consumed is Aishash, appears 3 times, which we saw in Strong's H6244. And Mount Seir goes into the word hairy because of Salaki. It's not what I wanted to do. I want to come right here. Yep. Right here. Let's see. You see, it says Seir is synonymous with the country of Edom. Edom is Seir. When we go to Genesis 32 and 3, we're going to look at the word Seir. H8165 is Shayar, right? Hairy or shaggy. And this is because of the way the mountains are structured and how they look. And one thing I wanted to get was a picture of Petra, which is in Edom, right? In modern day Jordan. And you look at these structures, and they're very similar to Greek and Romanesque architecture. Okay. And you see how they built these things in the clefts of the rocks. I mean, these things are huge too. Look at those people. So yeah, these they love dwelling in that's their home. So I got Genesis 32 and 3. Let's go back to verse 6. Was it 3 and 6? I'm sorry, Genesis 36 and 8. It's lucky. And it reads, "Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir." Esau is Edom. More proof, okay? And it says, to going into the dwelling in caves and the clefts. Let's go to Job, verse 30, chapter 30. I'm going to read from verses 5 through 8. It says, "They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed." Kind of like essentially, I believe that the word braid is going to go into like horses or like grunting, right? Under the nettles they were gathered together, all right? It says they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Okay, so it's this here is that they were nameless fools, outcasts from society. And you kind of look at that in the sense of history, as far as when the Moors were in Spain, at the time it was called Andalusia. Essentially, the people in Europe were living like cavemen, basically like cave people, and that's Esau, man. They were not living that life. Let me go to Obadiah. Verse 3. There's only one chapter. It says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high," all right, "that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" It's basically kind of like, you see like the modern day skyscrapers. Their habitations are high. That's essentially, like the modern day, clefts of the rock. They make themselves out of the earth. Okay. And you look at the, like modern day bank buildings, they look just like Petra. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 15 and 24. It says, "Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom of power, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power." So this is what Yahushua is coming to do. Okay. And the Edomites are the number one enemy of the nation of Israel. And you saw it right there, right? It even says that in Malachi 1 and 4. We'll get that real quick. Malachi. There it goes. It says, "Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh hath indignation forever. So again, that whole BS that these churches say that the Edom is no longer here, that they're done away with as a people. Come on. They're again, Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures. That's why I have that picture next to it. And that's going into Malachi 1 and 4, that they're trying to build up the desolate places, right? But, they're going to try to build, but the Lord's going to bring it down. Okay? So we go to Psalms 83, and this kind of goes essentially to where, all these nations that were confederate against us, against the Israelites, and how they had us in derision. So we'll go to Psalms 83, verses 4, I believe 4 through 6. Oh, you know what? Psalms. Salaki. It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Okay? And that's what these small hats have done, and along with the elites and with the Edomites. And it's funny because the small hats, their rabbis, they always go into saying that Esau, right, is modern day Christianity in America. That essentially that America, white Christians, that's Esau. Okay, and they know that. But the funny thing is, they also know that they're Amalek, right? But they don't want to talk about that. But nobody in Christianity and all these sects have nothing to say against the rabbis. All right. Anyways, Psalms 83 and 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, which is listed number 1, and the Ishmaelites, or who are modern day Arabs, of Moab, Chinese, and the Hagarenes, and it goes into all these people, right? But you see how they're listed number 1 right there, okay? So let's go to Luke chapter 1. This is the prophecy of Zacharias, the father of John the Baptist, okay? And I love pulling this out. Here he goes. It says, and his father, Zacharias, was filled with the Holy Spirit and prophesied, saying, blessed be the Lord power of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, okay, and have raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. All personal pronouns, okay? And we know that the throne of David is going to be established in the end of days, right? And that Yahweh Shai is going to sit upon that throne. But the thrones will be established as a promise that Yahweh made with Dawadah, with King David, right? It's the Bayath Dawadah, the house of David, because David couldn't sit on the throne because he had too much blood on his hand. That's why Solomon had to sit on the throne. But Solomon was Yahweh Shai, and if you receive that through the Spirit, then you're blessed. In verse 7, he says, and he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. Okay, and it said that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Okay, just going back into that Psalms 83, we're tying this all together now. Okay, so now I want to get to Jeremiah chapter 23. We'll read verses 4 through 8. It reads, and I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord Yahweh. Behold, the days cometh, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch. Okay, that's Yahweh Shai. And a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Okay, That we're mad. Verse 6, in his day Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called the Lord our righteousness. Okay, and that goes into the word. You know, the word Lord is all capital letters. It's the tetragrammaton. We call, and it's known as Yahweh. Okay, and our righteousness, or Yahweh, means he is he to be, or he exists. Okay, and then the word our righteousness goes into Strong's H6664. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Right here, and is Tazadak. All right, Tazadak. And it means justice, righteousness, and government. Right here, it says judges, rulers, kings, right? And who were, judges? The Alahayim, all right? Genesis 1, right? We were along Yahweh Shai, okay? So, and it reminded me, and this will be the last verse right here, of Matthew chapter 19. The sons of God, right? That holy council that you saw in the book of Job, right? And which Satan was a part of that, by the way, because him and Yahweh made a bet against, the servant, Job, right? So go to Matthew 19 and 28. And it reads, and Yahweh Shai said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory. Yahweh Shai sitting in the throne of King David, right? Bayat Dawadah, as that the kingdom of heaven shall be established on earth as it is in heaven, as it says in the Lord's Prayer. Ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? So, with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. And the water for you, Akim, Akwaf, that are listening. Say Kwam Yasharallah, Abab Abal, Shalom.